What's up, guys? What's going on? It's Paul. This is Pauline Theology. We're back, and we're still on Judges, and we're still on Samson, man. This is the last one, though. This is his legacy. This is what he's left with. And so be prepared. It's going to be a little different than what we always assume about the story. So if you haven't checked it out, man, go ahead and read Judges 16, 23 through 31. If you have, hey, we're about to dive on into it. What is it talking about? What exactly happens in the story? That's the first thing we always ask. And so let's ask it. What happened? Well, Samson obviously has got captured from last time. And the Philistines are rejoicing, man. It talks about, the writer of Judges talks about saying how they're happy, they're rejoicing, they're celebrating, they're glorying in their God because they have captured their harasser, the Philistine Samson. I'm sorry, not the Philistine, their harasser of the Philistines, Samson. And so they even said they want to grab him and bring him out to make a show of him. They're like, hey, let's bring him out, man. Make fun of him, man. Talk to him, entertain us, man, because we got him blinded. You know, he's like a little donkey or whatever, you know, we're a puppet or something on strings. And so they start glorifying in their God because of this. But as they bring him out, they bring him out with this little boy, and he tells the little boy, he's like, hey, tell me what the pillars of the building in which support this thing is on. That I may lean on him and get some rest. And so the boy shows him, and then Samson cries out to God. He says he cries out to the Lord. He says, oh, Lord God, strengthen me this one last time so that I may take vengeance upon the Philistines for my two eyes. And then it says that he leaned on the pillars of the house. He leaned on them, and he killed all the people that were there. And it said it was 3,000 men and women, lords of the Philistines, that were there. And that was more than he ever killed in his entire life on the day of his death. Samson says, may I die with the Philistines. So what does this say about God? Well, what this says about God is that the Lord is ruler over all. And he's not to be mocked. I mean, that's the thing right now. All those people, it's funny because you see them all glorifying in God, right? Their God, their Dagon, I believe is who it is. And they're worshiping and they're yelling, talking about our God has victory over their God. This is a battle of gods right here. And the last laugh is Yahweh's. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahweh just literally killed all 3,000 of the people who were there celebrating their victory over Samson. And really, Samson more got a victory over them. God's not to be mocked, man. He is the ruler over everything. But he's also the sovereign Lord. So his actions that he did to cause the people of Israel to be unoppressed or to destroy the oppression by the Philistines happened, despite the fact that Samson wanted to do his own thing pretty much his entire life. God's sovereign will was moving and working even through the sins of Samson. So God is sovereign over all things, and he's faithful to his word, because what he said he would begin to destroy the Philistines, he did that. That was a big start too. Samson was a big start. What's it say about man? Well, I think it is that we have so much potential as men, but with God it's futile. We have so much potential. Samson could have been one of the greatest judges in the history of judges. But instead, he was relegated to dying, blinded as a slave in prison. I mean, think of how awesome Samson was if he would have just done and followed as the Lord had called him to. What amazing accomplishments. You see, oftentimes we think, wow, Samson killed more people in his death than he did his life. We're like, man, that's so awesome. But really, I think the author is saying more as the fact that, look at this dude. Like, the power and the strength that he had, he ended up dying with the people that was oppressing him. And that's the only way that he really had any real defeat over them, is because he died with them. That's tough, man. Heroes and stories are usually the ones that in the end have the victory. But in the end, Samson didn't have the victory, man. He died along with the people. And that's sad, man. That is sad. What can we find, or what principles can we apply to these truths that we learn? Be an example of the power of God rather than being made an example by God. Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Is Samson could have been an example of the power of God in a person, but instead Samson was made an example to the world, the potential a person could have, yet fail when they don't serve him. Hey, thanks you guys for listening to this afternoon, this morning, this evening, whatever time it is that you're listening, man. And I hope that we live a life that's better than Samson. I know Samson get a lot of glory because he's power and strong and all that stuff, but in the end, man, he could have done so much more. He could have done so much more. So, don't waste your life, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.